Interested looking at your data there. Talk to some of this data for us. I haven't seen anything there change as far as the these prices are concerned, maize, tomato, but I can see these figures. Oh, that's surprising. Palm oil is about 15, is it 15,000 there?
So the last time we did a market review, tomatoes particularly is on the increase. Rice prices are extremely volatile, so it just depends on the the buyer, but then it's still on the upside. The locally produced rice as well is typically more expensive than the imported rice because of cost of production, and other commodities that have some sort of import content that are imported, for example, frozen foods too are going up, increasing per kilo. So most food items are actually on the rise.
One of the data that the I gotta look for this. Got a whole mountain of papers here. I'm getting a little bit confused. But one of the set of data released this morning, just about within the hour, was the petrol and diesel kerosene prices by the MBS, and these figures are also out. And one of the folks here says, look, that energy prices. That's the folks at FSDH Merchant Bank. This is what they sent in yesterday, and says that the government decision on premium motor spray, which is petrol, and electricity tariff remains the downside risk to the path of inflation in 2017. Do you agree that petrol, electricity prices, whatever you call it, tariff, is a sticky point for inflation moving forward?
Well, if you look at the petrol prices across the states, it's actually declining, or even if it's just a marginal decline. But some states have recorded higher prices compared to others. Then diesel prices actually last month decreased, but prices may come up again. Prices are going up again. So that is a major factor because you have to put that into logistics cost. And speaking about electricity tariffs as well, we have to that is a major issue. If electricity costs go up, there's manufacturers or producers or traders must pass that cost on to consumers, and that is why that is affecting most domestic commodity prices as well. So those are challenges or issues that have to be tackled. Not only speaking of forex, so far there's been a very good amount of forex, but it's interesting because it hasn't reflected completely in the price of commodities with import content. So who knows when will this happen?
If you look at what's good news and what is bad news, only 2 items on good news, 4 items on bad news. That's bad news. Budget has been signed and implementation is getting started. Central Bank accepts that prices are higher than reported. That means that everyone agrees that the prices on the street very sticky.
Yes, exactly. So why prices came down is mainly due to technicalities, but then reality is that prices
technicalities in calculating inflation, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less, yes.
And Nigerians don't want to take that to the market. They don't want to believe in technicalities of inflation computing.
It's just it's a year-on-year comparison.
Yes.
So this is due to the declining BT effect. So if you look at 2017, we started off on I think from this time last year, inflation started going up. So if you do the year-on-year comparison, we'll see that is why inflation is coming down. But market realities do not reflect that.
Well, we're going to take only just about one of the bad news here, and I think it's going to be bad news. Nigeria and Libya output exemption could be reviewed.
Yes.
Now, we've got the OPEC June oil production among member states reports published on Tuesday. Nigeria is now back as Africa's #1. With Focados, we've edged the Angolans back to second position, our main rival, right?
Yep.
Isn't it? So we're now about 1.604 million barrels per day. So you folks are saying the guys in OPEC in Vienna could be thinking, I think it's time to give Nigeria, we need to pull Nigeria onto the Baba chair and give them a haircut.
Well, the latest OPEC report released showed that increase in our production was one of the reasons why there was a total increase in OPEC output anyway. So if we reach our, if we continue to increase production and if we reach our targets, because everyone is given a quota. So if we reach our quota or exceed our quota, we'd have to go back and we're going to have to implement the cut which everyone else is observing. Yes.
And make it the bad news to make it worse is the fact that prices this morning
are 47.
Oh my God! And I saw U.S. crude at 44.
Yes. That is mainly due to the U.S. Fed's decision to increase interest rates. So typically, there's an inverse relationship between U.S. interest rates and dollar-denominated commodities. So if U.S. interest rates go up, the dollar is stronger, and that's going to discourage holders of other currencies to purchase dollar-denominated commodities. Coupled with the fact that OPEC production is increasing, and the U.S. is pumping, U.S. recounts continue to increase, and inventories, API forecast a 2.5 million barrel increase in U.S. crude inventory. So all these are very bearish factors for oil prices right now.
And if this happens, that is going to knock on our doors, one way or the other, isn't it?
That will, yes. And if we look at our external reserves, are actually on a 3-month low. So they are declining, and hopefully this is short-lived. But if oil prices continue to go down, if we are exempt from if we are going to cut production just like the rest of OPEC, that poses a threat to CBN's ability to continue to pump forex into the market.
Perhaps we got this extension. We're part of the party that says let's extend till March 2018.
Yes.
Okay. But is it likely that OPEC could call Nigeria and Libya into the room anytime before then, if we get all our production back, and say, hey, folks, the deadline is June next year, but two of you come down here and shave off your production, join the exemption?
Well, the major concern now is compliance amongst OPEC producers. Now, the risk or the worst case scenario may be, what is there a likelihood of cheating? Will members actually keep on to the quota they have been given? Because if U.S. is increasing production, they don't care what OPEC's doing. So it's literally it's literally counterbalancing what OPEC is trying to achieve. So going forward, is this going to be sustained? Who knows? But hopefully, hopefully it's sustained.
Who knows? If you know, let's be the first to know.
Yes.
Thank you. Ada Akonobi, who is a research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company. And of course, we're going to keep with the oil and gas story. Dr. Emeka Chukwu, who is the Deputy Minister of Petroleum Resources, being on podcast explaining what's happening with the state of the refineries and the current realities of Nigeria's oil and gas. That podcast is coming up next on the program.